I mean, I need to just come spend some time with you, like you said. It is.
Yeah, you gotta be ready. Whenever you're ready, you want to sit down and kind of start mapping it out, and then your steps, like what's next, and how do we make that crack? You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ready, but you got to be ready to do the work too, because the shit don't run itself. And also understand when just because you build it don't mean they come. You have to do the work to get them to come also.
Exactly.
One of the things you're really good at is collaborations. So it helps to build allies and collaborators to help grow that. So I'll shut up now.
I'm tagging you with Tonya. There you go. What is this? Say resilience. Okay. So we are setting up to go live. And then as soon as I see it's live, I will share it. Okay. So it looks like we are live, and I'm going to share it to one other place. And I tagged you in it also.
Okay. Maybe I'll start a watch party. Who wants to watch?
I like it.
Who wants to watch?
Let's see. Okay. All righty. Well, here we are. It's Dialogue with Mo. Okay. I'm going to open up to see who has joined us in the meantime. And I'm so excited to talk to you, Tonya. It is a privilege. It is
a good time, girl.
I know. And I was like, I'm a priority. I love it.
Better stop it.
Let's see.
Clearly, I'm not the priority because I have seen some. I'm gonna be salty right now. I've seen some of the people on your show, honey, and let me tell you.
Are you serious? I'm funnier. Oh, no. Let me turn that down. Okay. No. Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness.
Tonya, I have, like, you are on my, like, if you see my notebook full of people, I was even trying to figure out how to talk to you, and maybe this is
Are you kidding me?
Because I'm like, you're a mompreneur.
You know how to talk to me. You say, meet me at the beach.
I know, that is true. That is true, and I'm like, I'm gonna bring my camera.
And you've been at the beach a lot.
I know, because it's been refreshing. Like,
I've told you that though, for years I've told you that.
Yeah. And I'm like, why don't I listen to you? I need to listen to you more often and not just when I like hit crisis moment.
Ma'am, and we've had a few of those over the years.
If only they knew. I'm like, but the good thing about these Dialogue with Mo's, I'm actually building my tribe, and I've met a couple people in this process also. But let me tell people, it's Dialogue with Mo. Happy Monday. I hope you are excited about what is new for you this week. We have a very special guest, my lovely friend, mentor, sorority sister, auntie, sister, cousin, big sister, whatever you want to call her. She's a little bit of everything in between. Coach, Miss Tonya McKenzie. Introduce yourself to the people.
Man, what did you leave out? Pro fight, step partner, step team partner, partner in crime, all those wonderful things. So thank you for having me. Tonya McKenzie here for those of you that don't know me, founder of Sand and Shores, a boutique PR firm that works with civic organizations, law enforcement, political organizations, and nonprofits, because you need someone to help you tell your story to your target audience. And these particular organizations service the community. So you need to be able to know them, get to know them, trust them, and want to work with them because they're there to service you. So their story is pretty important. And that's kind of what I do, storytelling, mama.
You know, and I'm glad you said that because I watched your MMC with the chief, the Redondo Beach police chief. Yep. I mean, it was enlightening, it was engaging, and I was like on the edge of my seat last week, like, yo, you guys need to tune in, because you guys are doing some great dialogues and conversations with
And
my
for
mom.
those of you that haven't seen it, we were able to talk to the Redondo Beach Police Chief. He is an award-winning chief, meaning he's done a lot right. And especially in this time where officers have done a lot wrong, it makes a lot of sense to at least hear some of that dialogue. So if you want to head over to My Morning Coffee podcast page, all of our interviews are there, and we definitely love talking to people that are moving and shaking in their industry and leading the way in something, right? We can't be perfect in everything. We can't be an expert in everything, but what we are experts in, it's important to be able to express that knowledge, have those conversations, and let people know that you are open to having conversations about what it is that they do, because people have questions, people have questions. So head over there. We got a few entertainers, and we got some pretty cool people. Now we got to get you, Mo.
I know. I'm like, woo, make sure my feet just stay stable. Fourth grade kicked my butt.
While we're on that, spoiler alert, we are actually going to be having Joe Collins on next week, and he is running against Maxine Waters. So
I heard his commercial. Wow.
So if you guys are available next week, Monday at 10 a.m., head on over to My Morning Coffee. And we got some questions for Joe. Gia going to be firing on all cylinders, and Sarita's been on fire lately. So it should be interesting.
Okay, so hi to the people as you come in. If you have comments or questions, I will see it in the comment box, so just let us know that you're there. Hey. And so where do we start? So resilience, Tonya, is what I think of when I think about you. One of the things I didn't hear you say is mention that you're an author. And this is her book. And your life has been a life of resiliency. So let's open up and talk a little bit about that and how you came to where you are now. That's kind of loaded.
I'll give you the short of it, because if you do decide to read it, I don't want to spoil it. But since I am here still, that's the spoiler. I made it through. Yeah. But I am a gun violence survivor. My mother and I spent time in a federal witness protection program. And in that time, we had a lot of loss that we couldn't get to. It's funny, I was talking before with Dr. G, one of my clients. He was telling a story about how he prepared for COVID as a child when he was in, he had been in the hospital a lot. Really? So in moments of isolation where you have been isolated from the public, if you think back on that, if you think back on the things that you've been through in life, they have prepared you for moments like this and beyond. We have to be able to reflect back on some of the things that have helped to create who we are. So, that was one of those moments where we spent time in a federal witness protection program. After we got out of there, kind of bounced around a bit because my mom was still trying to figure it out as a single mother. Yeah. With me and my brother. And, it was tough because the person that committed the murder was a family member. And I come from a family that uses the word family almost like a weapon. Like, it's okay to do whatever you're doing and go back to the same behavior because we're family. Right. I had been really, I wouldn't say ashamed, just unaware that other people had gone through things like this. Until I was old enough and had enough self-confidence to then start having these conversations. But once we got out of federal witness protection, we spent some time in a homeless shelter. We bounced around a bit, and eventually, we wound up back in San Jose. I'm born and raised in San Jose, California. I was assaulted by my uncle, who was also a baseball coach at my high school. And back then, the way that they handle sexual assault, the Me Too movement, which is amazing, it definitely was not handled the way that it is now. It was kind of like, he said, you said, all right, well, we ain't got no proof, so we're moving on. Wow. But I did have an officer. One, my mom supported me when I told her. Right. So I didn't have that struggle, which a lot of people do when you tell someone and they don't believe you, right? Right. Then the officer was amazing. He said, it's probably going to come down to he said, she said, and nothing's probably going to happen, but you can at least put it on the record. And because he had been abusive towards my aunt, even at the age of 13, I was thinking, if I say something, at least when she decides to leave him, there'll be something on the record.
Okay.
The officer was so gentle, right? He wasn't degrading or like, you dumb 13-year-old and probably out there in them streets. It was none of that. It was none of what you see a lot of victim blaming that I went through. So the support was able to at least let me report it. Okay. Funny thing, I'll fast forward. My mom passed in 99. I had 2 little sisters. We actually had to go to court for them. My aunt was trying to get custody. And one of my arguments was that her husband is a pedophile.
Right. Wow.
And the judge was able to look and see that there was a record of that.
Because of this claim that you made years ago, the statement, should I say.
And the truth of the matter is, I have that officer to thank for. So we eventually won, custody. Right. But that just goes to tell people, you never know what doing the right thing will lead to. Yeah. And there isn't always immediate gratification for doing the right thing, but you have to believe in your heart that even if it's the hard thing, the right thing is what's going to eventually show up in your life. And so we wound up with them. And one of them is grateful and one of them could care less, but whatever, it happens.
And that's when I came into your life. And I see a couple people on. I want to say, hey, Aunt Jamila, hey, Sierra, hey, Tracy. That's when I came into your life. You were just like the big sister mom. Like we would come to Tonya's house, like we would travel from LA to San Jose or, whatever we were doing at the time. We always found ourselves at your house with breakfast in the morning, with kids,
eat, drink, and be merry.
Yeah, and it was like, it was just pretty amazing. And to not even know that story until years later, I think until actually I read your book, is when I finally was like, wait a minute, Tonya, how come I didn't know any of this? I knew your mom had passed. That's like, we were already together. So, hi, this is like the unscripted part. There's someone at my door. How can I help you? Oh, hey, Miss Jean. Okay, Jeremiah. My kid's grandmother is here. Hold on, Miss Jean.
Tell her I said hey.
She said, Tonya says hi. I love these dialogues. Hold on.
You never know what could happen.
Right? Never.
So yes, while she's gone, let me go ahead and plug you in on a little something. There might be a couple of surprises with the Joe for Congress interview. So, if you guys tune in, Miss G is always coming with it though. It'll be an interesting show. I hope you guys will definitely tune in. And then the next show, we have a little surprise for you too. So if you have some gems to drop or some surprises to let the people know about, get at us. Let us know. Okay. Coffee Podcast.
That was a first. Thank you.
Oh, I just kept talking because, I just talk.
No, you do what you do. Thank you. Thank you, people. This was a very exciting moment. I love these unscripted dialogues because, we were talking about family. And I think one of the things I would mention, like family, they watch you go through transitions.
I watch you start your family.
Oh, okay. You want me to tell that story? I was thinking about that yesterday. Okay, because so Tonya was like one of the first people to know I was pregnant with Jeremiah. And I'll be candid and tell that my ex at the time, his roommate was traveling to your house. And I'm like, I hadn't told like really anybody yet. And I was like, but I remember it was me, it was a friend of yours. Was it for your bridal shower? Is that what we were there for? I think it was a bridal shower.
I think so, actually, yeah.
Yeah, and she was pregnant also. I was like on the couch with morning sickness, like just they were like, oh, don't mind Mosi, she's pregnant. And I'm like, I haven't told my ex yet. And not that I was still engaged with him, but it was like, we had such a like pretty intimate relationship. I felt like he needed to know like my life was shifting,
Right.
and my life shifted quickly. And I didn't know, Tonya, I just thank you for always being there in my corner. Like, how do I do this next? And that's what we were talking about before we actually started filming. Is like the things that are next. Like I came to you in September when major transition happened in my life. I think it was late September, early October. And one of the things you told me that I still hold on to today was Mosi, you got shit to do. Don't worry about anything else and just do what you need to do. And I was like, that's really simple, but it's like really powerful. And I remember leaving that moment with you just feeling like my cup was filled. And there's not often that I get that feeling. And I was like, if you don't need to see Tonya, just go meet on the beach. She'll change your whole life.
But listen, I think that's the truth in regards to even now, with everything that's going on. We cannot be caught up in other people's stuff or what people think about us or how we're perceived by other people or trying to get someone to see us.
Yeah.
Trying to get someone to validate us.
Yeah.
Shit to do.
Yes.
I got time for that. And if you catch me in the wind while I'm doing my shit and we're good, then we're good. And that's who my tribe is.
Yeah.
My tribe are the people that are around and like me while I'm in the midst of doing my shit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Not the people I have to chase down to get them to acknowledge me or validate me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I'm not always with them when they're in their shit. Do your shit, my shit, and then we'll get together and it'll be fine.
Yeah.
That's your real tribe. Over the years, you and I have gone our separate ways.
Yeah.
Times. Yeah. But it never stopped our ability to bond when needed, conversate, have those conversations when needed, banter, because that's what we do.
Yes.
Find some laughs.
Accountability.
Meet up somewhere.
Yeah.
It's hard, especially at this age too. We don't have the kind of leisure time that we used to, right?
Good.
We're doing it. And it was easy. Come through, meet me here. Yeah. Now, grown woman stuff, you ain't got time to be doing that or chasing niggas. Or
right. It's like handle what's in front of you and what you call to. And if it's for you, it'll line up.
Right. Yeah. And if it's not, then wish them the best.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, I know your heart and you are a good person. If someone does not see that should be witnessing and feeling that, then they are not for you because they clearly don't see what's obvious to so many other people.
Oh,
just,
thank you.
It shouldn't be work to show worth.
Yeah. And I think that's one of my standards. And I know men may get upset the way I paraphrase it, but I'm like, don't make me work harder. Like to have company with you or to engage with you, whatever it's going to be, don't make me work harder. I'm like, I work hard enough. So the transaction should be seamless, or should I say should gel and be harmonious.
Especially early on, this shouldn't be work. It shouldn't be a struggle.
Yeah.
I ain't herding cows. Like, what are you doing? What? I gotta check. Goodbye.
Woo! Oh my God. So we're talking about resiliency. And I think that you kind of mentioned the time that we're in now. And I think that I love that you said that because people have to go back and remember the things that they've overcome and how to starting new, starting fresh. What are your thoughts on some of those things, like when it's time? Yeah. So, hey, Patricia, I want to say hi to people. Patricia, Wanda, you're saying April is on too. She says hi. Hey, Andrea. Hey, Mahasa. Hey, Shanika. But Jamila says it shouldn't be work to show worth. Love that.
Yeah. I shouldn't have to work hard to show you that I love you or I appreciate you. Yeah. We might not even be in a love situation yet. Maybe we just in a like. How hard is it to, hey, how you doing? How's your day going? Like these little things. Yeah. But let me not get it twisted. Those are the same things that need to carry your relationship. So if it is someone that starts with you doing those little things, they better keep doing them throughout. And that's when things start to fall off.
That is exactly that moment.
I've always said people don't, they don't stop loving each other. They just grow apart.
Yeah.
And when you stop doing those things that got you together, that is eventually when you grow apart. So it does not take work. If you start feeling like it's a struggle to show her that I like her, she is not for you. Just tell her.
That's good. That's good. It goes both ways. I like that you said that, because men always like, women say, no, it goes both ways.
Yeah. Because, you know, we'll tell them in a minute, leave your shoes at the door.
That's true. That's true. Woo! So,
but in regards to resilience now and the way that people should be looking back, most people in my life have been through something. Like, I don't know anybody that just
was perfect, just
got to 40 something and ain't been through anything.
That's true. That's true.
So acting culture shocked with a lot of the things that are going on right now is a little disingenuous, right? Okay. And for those that have gotten this far, they can also acknowledge that there's been a level of work to get them out of whatever situation happened in the past.
Okay.
That is what we need to lean on right now. Okay. Remember the work it took you to when you got your license suspended and you had to work hard to get it back? Okay, I'm gonna need you to dig in on them politics right there. Yeah. Remember the work you had to do when you lost your job and you had to move in with your mama again with your kids, and you had to figure it out and get a job and work hard and then get back to okay, I'm gonna need you to reflect back on that type of tenacity to move us and be a contributor to this moment in our history. There is something that everyone can do. There is no opportunity, especially in a moment like this, to be a spectator, right? Wow. There's no opportunity to be a spectator. And if so is your choice, I don't want to hear nothing from you in the form of complaints. And you know there's plenty to complain about. So I've always been firm in the fact that I always tell people I'm a habitual complainer, but I will do the work. I'm a habitual complainer, but I will.
That's evident in some of the boards you serve and sit on and lead now.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so we have, particularly right now, we have the Community Engagement Board, police department with the police department. Ain't nothing but a bunch of complaints going on right now, right?
Right.
But work comes in. One is being big girl enough to have the tough conversations and then process that in a form of solutions, and then going out and doing the work that you come up with those conversations. A lot of people are scared to have tough conversations. That's another part of resilience. You know what you are afraid of. You know what makes you uncomfortable. You know, whether it's child rearing or politics or something in religion, big one. Those are the conversations you need to be having.
Wow.
Those are the conversations that you need to dig in on, because it's going to be growth for you. And it's also going to be growth for the people around you. They may not even know that.
Wow. So dig into the conversations that make you uncomfortable.
Absolutely. I was telling, we had our town hall for Redondo Beach. I was on a town hall for Councilman Harbath. Okay. And I told a story that I had never told before. When I first moved here, I had a moment of what I thought was racial discrimination. I was scared that the police had stopped me for speeding, and I was scared and I was crying because Sandra Bland had just happened, right? And a friend of mine that lived here had said that our BPD was prejudiced and they profiled. So I have a lot of things going on in my mind when I'm getting stopped. I'm scared to death. I start shaking, I start crying, just being pulled over for a ticket. Right. So I am literally shaking, like, I just want to be able to go back home to see my kids. Oh my God, just over a traffic ticket. Because at that point, I didn't really know what he was pulling me over for. I didn't know I was speeding. I'm on my way to the gym. Okay. And I'm shaking, and he comes to the car and he was just like, hey, you're going a little fast down the street. Just wanted to, I know he was like, what is wrong with this girl? Like, what is wrong with her?
You're like,
yeah, he's tripping out. I'm tripping out. It could have went south because I'm mouthy.
Right.
He's just like, listen, where are you going? It was like 4:30 in the morning. You know me sneaking off.
We're gonna talk about that.
Right. You know, I'm going to the gym. And he was like, okay, I'm going to let this be a warning. Stop speeding. And as soon as you're going to the gym, I'm going to let you go.
Okay.
But don't do that again. I was like, okay. Girl, drama queen. But I was dead serious. I was scared to death. So I told this story in the meeting, but I also told them what I did next, which is the next time they had a coffee with a cop, to their officer, and I was like, hey, I have a black friend that lives here. And she said, y'all are racist. First of all, I know he was like, I will check her. No, he was, it was actually an officer named Mike. He has since retired, but I was scared. Okay. I was scared in that moment, and I don't ever want to feel like that again.
Yeah, because the community, I mean, Redondo Beach is not a large city. So I can see, do some of the officers live in the city? Like, do you guys, like, are you neighbors and stuff like that?
My chief lives here.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, part of their motto is to be the community.
Yeah.
So a lot of things that they're talking about now in regards to police reform, or one of the police reforms would be officers need to live in the community that they serve.
Yeah.
Well, they live. But the other thing a lot of people don't know is we all have a lot of these on our squad.
Really?
Right. So it's really, I don't, listen, when you don't know what's going on, you can't paint everything with a broad brush.
Yeah.
So the officers in our school are African-American women. That means our kids get to see women with authority in our schools.
Got it.
Where else they do that?
Right.
So it's for me, starting that conversation with Mike has led to a lot of other conversations. And of course now being on the board and leading their first MLK celebration and doing the PR for them, that was amazing. But all that to say, we have to start having tough conversations and sometimes saying those things that are unconventional instead of using like cliches and just terms that people happen to throw out. We have to start saying exactly what we mean, what we feel, and what we need. Like, this is what I need from you.
So let's talk about, let's get into your relationship, because you are married and you also have, when I say relationship, meaning your relationship with your husband, with your kids, and yourself, because I see that you prioritize the time with yourself, and you have like a full deck and probably 3 to deal with. How, and I mean, children at different ages of puberty, life, just how do you stay feet flat on the ground?
Who said I know?
No.
Life is trial and error, okay? You try to do it all, and that is not a thing. Like, that doesn't work. So I'll tell you this, you've seen our, progress over the years. Right? You got to try some things. If they don't work, you try something new. So I am semi-traditionalist, like the mom raises the kids, the dad does the work. But I didn't go to college just to be a housewife.
Right.
So there's a level of balance there. It wasn't always there. So what happens when things are out of balance? You got to have the tough conversation.
Tough conversations. Would you say that's something like you specialize having tough conversations? Like, hey, we need to talk.
You don't like conflict.
Right. You always have been the person who like, look, I'm going to say what I say.
You guys have always been like, go get Tonya, she'll do it.
The funny thing is people like, they like, Mostly, you're so soft and nice. I'm like, because if you see the women around me, I'm like, they're like, rock hard, but they keep me in line. And
go tell Tari, go tell Tonya, this is what happened. And she knows how to gaslight me. Y'all know how to gaslight me. Yeah. I've been doing it for years.
Well, I'm appreciative. I'm like, maybe that's why I get to be soft, because I'm like, but I'm soft enough to know how, like, you being, I'm not going to call you, because you're not rigid to me, but your heart is so open to give. But you are very skilled in the tough conversation. If you cross a boundary, like, no, we're not going to do that.
Well, let's talk about when we were talking about resilience before, right? There's so much more to the book.
Yeah.
So many awkward situations and awkward things that have happened in my life.
Yeah.
I had moments of just not wanting to feel unresolved. Like, I know what it is when someone passes away,
Right.
and you have these unanswered questions, right? I come from a really big family. My grandfather's family had 17 brothers and sisters.
Right.
And we're incredibly fertile, so there's a lot of cousins.
Yeah.
All that being said, there's been a lot of times when someone passed away and there were unanswered questions, right? I've seen kids suffer through their parents, parents, grandparents, aunties, uncles. So while I was actually towards the end of my college years, I decided I wanted to just start having some of these unanswered questions in my life, because I didn't know when I would lose my mom, or when I would lose my grandmother, or when I would lose my grandfather. So I just started asking questions. I mean, some of them were incredibly inappropriate and they didn't want to answer, but that gave me the opportunity to find healing.
Yeah.
Gave me the opportunity to learn,
right,
to be able to teach or make decisions for whatever family I was going to have later. It gave me the opportunity to be a good daughter, granddaughter, and listen.
Yeah.
To be a good listener. Because they had untold stories.
Yeah.
So when you do have the opportunity to have those tough conversations, it goes both ways. You're not the only one that's seeking answers or resolution.
I think I want to say that too, because I think we do become comfortable with the unresolved. Like, oh, we're not going to talk about it, and we try to sweep it under the rug, not knowing that it's a mountain that you're going to trip over, or that somebody else down your lineage would trip over because you never addressed it.
Absolutely. When I wrote my book, and one of my cousins, she had read it, and she was like, oh, I'm thankful that you highlighted my parents, but I don't like that you said such and such about somebody else. And I was like, okay, was it untrue? And she's like, no, but still. So I'm like, well, how are we going to keep from making these same mistakes, or deviating from this kind of behavior that leaves the youth in our family disturbed? Like, we're an over-medicated society, partially because people have unresolved issues, whether it's assaulted or abused or abandoned. We can't talk about this. So we're just going to keep going through this. We're going to keep acting like this what didn't happen, so that they can think they're, because if we have a problem and I'm addressing the problem and you walking in circles, I'm like, is it just me? Did that really happen? Or did I imagine that? And then I'm even crazier, and you don't want me crazy. But all that being said, it's like, we have to talk about things that have ailed us and led us to a place of darkness, frustration, anger, and unhappiness. You can't leave it there.
Do you start with, would you say the conversation would start with you, like with yourself? Like, how do I feel about this? Like, what am I thinking? What are my thoughts? Things like that.
Well, sometimes you don't know how you're feeling. You don't even have all the information to be able to process.
That's good.
You don't have the information to know how to process. You don't even know where to begin. So it starts with, I'm feeling like this. What happened? Or am I wrong? How many times now have you heard somebody say, I didn't mean to make you feel like this, but. But if you don't give them that opportunity, and you just have going on in your head what you think happened or what you think the intention was, you're always going to have some kind of feeling about a situation that you're not fully informed of. You're not fully informed. How can you develop a response or an appropriate resolution for that feeling?
That's good. That's good. That's something I'm going to continue to work on, because I know sometimes I'm like, look, I'm not having a conversation with you. I'm gonna figure this out on my own.
You're like, forget it. Just forget it. I'm gonna go be nice Mosi over here.
Yeah, because I'm like, you're asking me questions, but I feel like in a male, well, not in many situations, not just male, female, you're asking me questions without wanting to know what I think without giving me what you believe. And I'm going, this is like a one-way street. Why are we doing this? Like, you're wasting my time.
But
And
you
then,
gotta say that though.
yeah, right.
You gotta stop pulling back because you're making someone else comfortable by holding your own stuff in. You have to say that. That moment where you're just like, whatever. No, say that. Yeah. Like you're being disingenuous right now.
I'm telling you, I don't know what's coming down the pipe, but I'm telling you, it's a fierceness that has shown up and risen in me. Like, look, I'm speaking more of my truth, not just to myself, but to people around me. And if you don't understand it, I'm going to have to say what it is. Hey, Tari's like, what we're talking about? We're talking about resiliency, but we're also talking about having a tough conversation.
Tell her we talking about how she puts me up to shenanigans over the years. That's
and that too. Tari is a connector. And but I think, and we were talking about the unresolved, and sometimes how we get comfortable being in an unresolved moment, situation, understanding. And it's like, no, have the conversation, have the tough conversations. And relating it to this time, Shari said, don't try to bring her into this. Well, Shari, yeah, I don't know what to say. I'm gonna leave that one alone. I'm not gonna bring her into that. But I'm gonna say, for like relating to this time, what I'm thinking about, I had a conversation with someone and they were like, people are coming out of this pandemic feeling refreshed. Some people are coming out feeling refreshed, like ready for something new and just still creating stuff. Where others are like, I'm beat up. Like, I've been fighting at my job, fighting at home, like, and I am just like, I don't know what to do. And I was like, yo, we need to talk to people who've been working this whole time and they didn't get an opportunity to kind of woosah. They've just been grinding.
I have not taken a minute, but I'm also refreshed in that there's solutions coming from my work and the people that I work with, right? So there's two-part, I'm the president of the North Redondo Beach Business Association, and unfortunately for small businesses, it's a tough time. So having those meetings and hearing the cries of small business owners is tough. Like, that is heartbreaking. That is really heartbreaking. But there's been people that are coming up with new businesses and new opportunities for their business and new services and just getting creative with that time to be still. We don't get that too often. Just be still. Think about what it is you really want to do. Miss Mosi, I'm talking to you. But there's moments. There's the time with family, being able to discover new things that you want to do with them or things you haven't been able to do before. Figuring if what you want to do is something that you've actually had time to think and strategize about. Yeah. So then it's a matter of perception. Like, how did you perceive this time? You just sat around and complained all the time? Is that what you just mad? Because we have those too. Just mad all the time, the whole time.
And looking for the next trigger. Something
that doesn't feel good to me. I'm all about the feel good, Yeah. That didn't work for me. So when people want to do something, they want to create something, they want to expound on something, that's when I come in. So for me, that's been pretty invigorating. And the other thing is, with the pandemic, a lot of people have decided they don't like their children very much. Oh my God, I'm going crazy with these kids in this house. I'm like, you raised them. Now you can do what you done sent out to the teachers for the last 6, 7, 8, 10 years. If you don't like what you have been creating, now is a good time for you to retool and fix that problem because you have time. You have all the way into fall.
And probably longer than that.
Maybe.
That is true.
No, it's a good opportunity to look at what you have been creating, whether it's in your business or in your family, in your household, and retool it, fix it, invigorate it, find something new. And that's what time does for you.
That does. If you let's talk about a little bit how you help people do that with your with Sandon Shores.
Well, there's the storytelling piece, and it's always about who your target audience is, right? So helping people discover or fine tune who their target audience is, understanding what that looks like. So if you're selling something, a service or a product, we all like to imagine that what we have is for everybody, right? Everybody will love my book as an author. Everybody will. No, you have a core audience that you need to fine tune and get targeted on. So who are those people? What is the culture of those people? Are they moms? Are they high income? Are they low income? Where do they live? Where do you find these people that will like your product or your service? Are they corporate executives or are they small business owners? Like, what does that look like? So helping them figure out who that is, and then really working on the messaging and the content that will attract those. Of course, the same thing that attracts a 19, 20-year-old is not going to attract a 45-year-old executive.
Right.
So you have to really focus in on some of that stuff, content, and then pitching the media. Like, we have to work on making sure that more stories, quality stories, are being seen in the media. Quality stories. So who are you pitching to? Let's find the journalists that like that topic that you're talking about, and let's really get in front of them. The other thing is teaching people that, even if you hire a publicist, a public relations firm, a marketing firm, this is still your business.
Right.
So I think people have the idea that, okay, well, I'm going to hire somebody and they just going to go out and make me rich. They're just going to go out and make me famous. Look, I can't be more excited about your business than you are. I can be your cheerleader.
That's hard.
Right. And I can speak for you in certain situations, but I need you out cheering also. So it's a partnership. It's a strong partnership where we work together to make sure that your target audience is able to hear your story, know, like, and trust you and want to do business with you.
Yeah.
That's it.
I love it. So you can contact Tonya as you are developing your business and your brand and growing.
Yes.
Now, what about, let's talk about let's go back to the interpersonal, where we're talking about having a hard conversations and just telling your story. Like, what if you're like, okay, I mentioned someone like, I'm coming out of this COVID situation and it was not good for me. And you're like, I need to create a new me. How would they start that?
One of the first things that I like for people to focus on, and this is what I use my book for, is to let people understand that leadership is newsworthy, right?
Yeah.
Leadership is something where someone actually steps out and does something that not others do.
Yeah.
And they, almost like you, they have a tribe that they lead.
Yeah.
Right? You lead the tribe. And how do you do that? By communicating your mission and who you are. We follow you just as much as you follow us because we believe in what you are doing.
Yes.
So you have to identify what it is that you really like, who it is that you want to be connected with. There's nothing worse, because if you don't, I'm sorry, I missed my thought. If you don't do that and you just start a job or you start a business, there's no passion behind it.
The passion.
And eventually you get tired of that.
Yeah.
Right? It's a job.
Yeah.
We've all had jobs. We've had jobs. You don't like your job. You hate your boss.
And you can create a business model the same way.
Right.
It's a job, and it's like,
you can. Yeah. I'm just gonna do this. I'm just gonna sell this product, but you hate every minute of it. I'll tell you like this, and I hope I don't get too much feedback from me. I started a real estate agent magazine.
Yes.
One of my first entrepreneurial things out here in Southern California.
Right, I remember.
I don't really like real estate.
Really?
Yeah. That's not my thing. I mean, the cool thing is being able to try to help some of my advertising clients get PR.
Yeah.
But I started a magazine in an industry that I thought it was cool, but then I was like, not sure. because there's a lot of real estate out here in the South Bay. That's not my thing. And the more you learn about an industry, the more you decide you either like it or don't like it, right?
Right.
So you have to be honest with yourself. You have big girl talk to yourself about what I just got through telling you. What is it that you like? Who do you want to work with? If you have the opportunity to create something for yourself, that'll be something you like.
Right. Start there.
Right. Be around. Don't start a convalescent home and you don't like old people. Like, who does that? But people do. They're mad. I gotta go to work today. Well, you started that business.
That's true.
That is true. Okay, well, you should probably think about it before you jump into it. Some stuff is elementary, dude. Come on. Are you serious?
Right. Oh my. Yeah. Start something you want to do, people. Start something
I hate athletes, but you started a sports agency. Who does that? Like, but there are people because they think that's what
they're chasing something else.
Yeah, money.
Or fame. Chasing money.
Fame or whatever. But if that doesn't make you happy, at the end of the day, come on.
You find yourself in the same situation.
You won't be running somewhere looking for another situation. Come on, just get it right the first time. Take the time to decide what you like, who you want to deal with, who you want to be around. I love small business owners. I love people in civil service. They are people to me that are servicing our communities.
Right.
I love that. So I work in an industry. I built a firm in an industry that deals with those people.
Good.
And we work on leadership, like establishing your thought leadership. That's that original thinking, right? It's not repurposing other people's thoughts. It's really finding your space. Where are you the expert? How do you measure up in this industry? Let's compare your thoughts to other experts to get you in that space of thought leadership. That is something that is hugely important. You got to be able to step out and have enough faith and confidence in yourself and the way that you perceive things based on your experience and your upbringing to be able to step into your own way of thinking, right? Got to be able to do that.
So I want to kind of acknowledge that, and again, plug Standing Shores. Tonya can help you. Like if you have a thought in your mind of something you want to do next, and you're still trying to formulate the whole kit and caboodle, call her, email or text her.
Gia will tell you, I'm always getting her into something. She starts bantering about what she wants to do. I'll be like, this is what we're gonna do.
That's why I have to come spend some time with you. Like, Tonya got like all this stuff. But one of the things a fun thing I want to talk about is mom tips, because you are a mom and you are active and your children are active, and tips for some of the moms. I see there's some moms on the line. Talk to us about motherhood.
Listen, if CPS don't show up, you did it right.
I love it. Trial and error.
Whatever. But truth of the matter is, this is something that Ray and I have worked on. We talked about it over and over, is who we want these people to be.
That's good.
How we want to get them to that point. So that is from their recreational life, their educational life, socially. It's our job to facilitate what that looks like. And I do not believe in being friends with your kids. Like, we cool, but we're not the friend. We're the parent. We're parenting, we're teaching, we're guiding, we're mentoring. And we're having honest conversations and knowing when to have those. That's really, my biggest, most impactful recommendation. Okay. We are not evasive, because I have been having conversations with individuals, particularly now in this situation, who have not had certain conversations with their kids. So they're like, I don't know what you're talking about. It's racism.
Like what conversations would you say that people should be having with their, let's do an age range, with their 18 ups? and their elementary and the middle, because you got all three.
I mean, right. Well, college too. Yeah, we still got to talk to him about some stuff, but you know, the racism conversation, you have to have it. You have to let people know you and your friends, because at the elementary and junior high school age, they're all playing together.
Yeah.
Only until high school where you start seeing them separate, right?
Yeah.
But the conversation is about differences, not so much that we'll divide them, but understanding we're all a little different. But that might start when, you know, Peggy Sue can go to something that Talia can't go to. Okay, that's fine. That's her mom. She's different. She thinks different. She was raised different. Her mom was probably raised different. Well, this is what we're going to do, and this is why we think it's important.
Okay.
And I don't care if you don't think it's important. That's the other part. Is I'm the mom. Are you paying rent this month? Okay, then it's kind of what we say.
I love it.
But it's really about explaining as much as you can to help them process how to process stuff, right? You have to teach kids how to be problem solvers. You have to teach them how to process things. So as long as we're able to continuously do that, when they start making decisions, they can walk us through how they process that. Oh, Roy, what happened with, you didn't go with them to the park? Why? Well, he was and I didn't think that would be a good idea. I'm in his head. He's great.
He knows how to think. Yeah.
You have to start teaching them to be problem solvers at an early age.
Yeah.
And then amongst themselves. Like, how do y'all solve? Don't think these four can't just have it out. Right?
Right.
Okay, well, how would that work on the streets?
Right. Wow.
So having those conversations in a way that's very real life oriented. Okay. And also with the importance of family, like the real word family.
The real word family that doesn't use it as an excuse to hurt each other.
Yep.
Or violate one another.
Yeah. No, you can't just do that because that's your brother. Would you do that to somebody on the street? That was the other thing. Okay, well, if you can't get along with him, you ain't going to hang out with your friends. Because this is your first priority. So you better fix that relationship. If y'all beefing, one of the first things I ever taught them is to apologize.
Wow.
Like, we can't move on until I'm sorry and explain why. And not just the general, oh, I'm sorry for what I did. No. What did you do? And then tell him why you did it. And then he's going to tell you how that made him feel. Like, we do this thing.
That's good. I think especially, I don't know, with my boys, like the apology sometimes I'm like, did you guys apologize to one another?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Oh, no, hold on. Come back. Yeah. I'm sorry for what? Say it.
Right. Like taking the ownership, like.
Yeah, say it. Say what you did.
That's good.
But that's, again, and I guess that's selfish of me, because I want them to learn early that you have to have the tough conversations.
Well, and it all goes back to having a tough conversation, that boldness, that resiliency, the bounce back ability, whatever adjective you want to put there, have the tough conversation.
You got to have it. It helps you grow. And then if you don't like doing it, then you stop acting stupid and then you don't have to do it again. So.
Tonya, I love you. Tell people where they can find you, what you have coming up next.
So Sandin Shores, SANDANDSHORES for all business needs. And if you just want to laugh, Tonya McKenzie PR on Twitter and Instagram. Yeah. And really what I want you to do is tune in on Monday to see Joe for Congress, because that will be a great conversation. And I am looking for leaders to interview on my platform. So if you do have an expertise that you want to talk about and tell the people about, hit me up, Sandin Shores, sandinshores.com, Instagram and Twitter. I'm easy to find. And you can Google me. So you might not see a blue check mark, but you can Google me.
All that and then some. And you might find her on the beach pretty soon. social distance.
Yes.
Send her a note card in advance, like, I'm coming to find you. I need some time.
Social distancing though. We got stuff to do.
Yeah, you and I. So we're gonna say bye to Facebook. And Facebook, thank you for tuning in, telling your story and resiliency. You'll see your highlight later on Instagram and here on the Facebook channel, Facebook page, both Tonya's and mine. And you can be able to watch this live dialogue again. In the meantime, thank you. Make it a great week, and we'll see you on Thursday.
Take it easy.
Okay, so I'm going to stop recording.